Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I want to give you multiple reasons why, in my opinion, I think you should buy a gaming PC instead of the new consoles like the PS5 and Xbox. I've seen some interesting comments on my video about the PS5 pre-order causing chaos, so I decided to do a more in-depth video as of why I think a gaming PC is a much better alternative. Now, I'm in no way an expert on this, but I think I know quite a bit of stuff as I had both platforms, PCs and consoles growing up. But before we jump into the video, this is clearly my opinion, and what I think is the best option in general might not be the best for you, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so first of all, I think that getting a gaming PC instead of a console is the better alternative because of the performance. The PC can reach astronomically better performance than what a console can reach. Now, you might be spending a little bit more money if you want a good gaming PC, but honestly, it's a much better investment than dumping your money into a console. The current consoles are capped at 60 FPS, and some big games that are open world are even capped at 30 FPS. Now, this is not the case for the new consoles because they will have 120 FPS, but that's still like an average FPS for a gaming PC, which you can run at 240 FPS or more. Don't get me wrong, 120 FPS is still decent, but why would you want to restrict yourself to 120 FPS when you could get a gaming PC and run at more than that? And also, the consoles tend to start running really bad once you use them for a couple of years. My PS4 is barely running and I haven't seen 60 FPS in a long while now. And that's the bad part about consoles, you cannot change the parts in them, unlike the PC, so you're pretty much stuck with what it comes with. And that's another bad part about the consoles. They come out every 7 years or so, and for the first 2 or 3 years, yeah, the consoles are amazing for the price, you know, but technology constantly is advancing, and after those 2-3 years or even 4 years, the hardware is already outdated and you cannot do anything about it because you cannot change the parts. Another reason why I think getting a gaming PC is much better investment than a console is that you can do so much more than just gaming. You're pretty limited with what you can do on a console. Like, let's say for example you want to work on your PC, I don't know, streaming or making videos. You're limited to what you're going to do. What are you going to do? Edit your videos on console? That's not an option, you know. And that's the thing about gaming PC, it's not just a gaming PC, it can be a workplace for your school projects, job, whatever you do. Basically, you can do anything regarding the internet if you have a good gaming PC. Whereas on consoles is mainly games and browsing the internet, which I don't see why anyone would browse the internet on their PlayStation or Xbox, because you can browse the internet on your PC or on a phone, which is so much smoother than browsing on your console. Another big reason why I think you should get a gaming PC instead of the console is that you don't have to pay online subscriptions. The current price for PS Plus is $60 for a year. That's a big price. You could be spending those $60 buying 2 games, for example, on PC. See, that's the shady part about consoles. They present you this great price, this incredibly low entry point price, but trust me when I say this, they will get that money back one way or the other, one being the online subscriptions fees, for example. Don't get fooled by the low prices of the consoles, because in the long run you could have spent that money on a gaming PC and get so much more out of your money than you would have gotten if you spend that on a console. Another reason why I think you should get a gaming PC is that while wireless controls are pretty nice, there's a small input delay which you don't really notice until you switch to keyboard and mouse, and you can see it's like so much smoother and more responsive. That's a good segue to the next reason. Keyboard and mouse is just so much more superior when it comes to gaming. You can be so much more accurate on a mouse and keyboard rather than a controller, which is really hard to aim since you have to push down on the joystick. Now, I'm not saying it's incredibly hard to aim, but you'll never reach the accuracy of the mouse in first-person shooter games. Let's say for example you play mainly first-person shooter games. While using a mouse you can aim so much faster and precise compared to a controller and make quick and fast adjustments according to your target. Whereas on a controller you'll either aim way past your opponent or way before it. Now you can still have god-tier aim on a controller, but you'll never be able to reach the same accuracy as a mouse and keyboard player. Another thing that I don't really like on consoles is that there is no option to customize your graphics or camera settings. Games on the console pretty much much run on the best settings possible, and when your console starts to get older and doesn't work as good, a setting that would decrease the graphics just a little bit more for the games to run smoother would be great, but unfortunately there isn't one. And you cannot change the FOV either on consoles, which is really frustrating on some games, since you would really want your camera to be just a little bit more zoomed out so you can see more of the screen. Having a setting like this would make the game run really slow, because there's more to process for the console, and that's why there's no option like this available. Now, something really cool on the PC is that there are so many more games that can be played only on PC. Now granted, there are some pretty cool exclusive games on consoles, but you'll never be able to play like really old games, for example, that are only available on PC, because the only good way you can play like really old games are like through emulators, and that only work on PC. And another reason why I think gaming PC are just a little bit better than gaming consoles is the looks. Now I know this is very subjective, but the gaming PC just looks so sexy, no homo, but all those custom builds that have LEDs of all sorts of colors just look so much better than, I don't know, the PS5, which has a really boring design, if we're being honest for a moment. But I think we can all agree that making a gaming PC yourself and making it exactly how you want is just much better than getting this boring design that Sony or Microsoft gives you. It's just a much more personal experience, so to say. Another reason why a gaming PC is better is that, let's say you like racing games, in which case it's better to play using a controller, right? Well, at least you have that option. You can just plug your controller onto the PC and play with no input delay. And if you were to do this on your console, for example, and want to play using your keyboard and mouse, it's not the same experience. I personally tried doing this. I plugged in my keyboard and mouse on console, and it's just not good. It's not responsive at all, and sometimes doesn't even work at all, so you know. But yeah, console gaming still has its place, don't get me wrong, and I could make a video on that if you guys really want, as to why a console would be a better choice than a gaming PC, because for some people the reasons that I mentioned today might not be as important to some like me. So these are the reasons why, in my opinion, you should get a gaming PC if you can afford to spend a little bit more, but if not, I would suggest getting a console if you're not really into gaming that much and just want to play with the boys, you know, when they come over. But if you can afford, and what a better investment in the long run, I would highly suggest getting a gaming PC instead. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Have a great day, everyone.